uncontrollable crowd of reunion weekend. So thank you for your attention. I'm Sam Lundquist, Vice Dean for External Affairs, and I have the honor of welcoming you to our luncheon today and to thank you for coming back to Wharton for your reunion. And I just want to tell you that we're so happy to see you, and it's an honor for us to celebrate all different classes at the Wharton School. And so your being here is a representative of many who probably couldn't make it, but we're glad to see you here, and we have a great program for you this afternoon. Carl, we're honoring him today especially because he served for 2 years as chairman of the Emeritus Society, and I just want to spend a couple minutes recognizing Carl for what he's done. That has been extraordinary in terms of helping me and Liz Ann Rohde, who's the Executive Director of Alumni Relations, in really helping bring the Society to where it is now. For all of you who know Milt Silver, Milt is, I'm just going to get the Electrical Engineering Class of 50 and Wharton MBA 52. He has agreed to take on the mantle of Chair of the Emeritus Society going forward. So he's not here today, but when you see Milt, shake his hand and thank him for his service. Thank you.
Our undergrads are ready to go to work as soon as they get out of the Wharton School. That they have the training, they have the skills, they have the background, and as many of you know, it's not just from professor to student in the classroom. What happens in a business school classroom is there's so much interaction in the classroom. So that means you got to have the right students as well as the right faculty. So as you're admitting a class, and you realize the students are going to learn from one another. They're going to learn from one another in class, and they're going to learn from one another in study teams outside of class. They're going to learn from one another as they go into cohorts beyond the classroom. And so, yeah, we want brilliant faculty and we want brilliant students. And faculty hopefully are going to contribute a lot, and the students at the same time are going to help educate one another. But our students now work for Facebook, Google, Amazon, eBay, LinkedIn, and 60 of the MBA started businesses or went to work for companies with less than half a dozen employees last year. So things are changing and will continue to change. I would say that, and I said this the other day, finance is not going away. You know, we're known as a school for finance. Well, sometimes the faculty in marketing or, you know, operations or something, they complain, oh, Tom, can't you change the school so that, you know, people don't keep saying it's a finance school? Well, you know, I wish we could, but we're great in finance. We just want to say we're great in finance, and we're great in marketing and operations and healthcare and real estate. It's not that we want to take anything away from finance. And finance is not going away. And so even though investment banking is down, hedge funds, private equity, venture capital, real estate have all grown. And so if you look at the total percentage of where our students are going in finance, it's about the same as it always was. But it's not so much that they're going to the very large investment banks so much any longer as they're going to a broader portfolio of financial institutions.
As you may have heard, my name's Carl Schaefer, and I want to welcome you all to the Wharton Graduate Emeritus Society. Now we have, as Sam was saying, 20, maybe 21 people on our steering committee, and we do have a few of them here, and I wondered if they would please stand, those members who are part of the steering committee. John, can you stand? Jean, Mary Lou, and Jim, and that's terrific. Some years ago, Bob Crandall, who was chairman of American Airlines back in the day, and who was the guy that started frequent flyer miles, not just at American, but around throughout the industry, spoke here right from this room. And he was really dynamic, and he talked about an old geezer's crusade. Bob was saying that we're in trouble. We've got a lot of debt, and it isn't just our generation, which what the heck, We're too dead and too lazy to fall over. But it's our children's generation, and more particularly our grandchildren's generation, that are at risk because of the huge debt that our government has put upon us. And so he's issued this challenge. And so we're very fortunate to have Bob here by a videotape, and I'd ask this gentleman to start that, and hope you enjoy it.
To get America back on the right track, our politicians are going to need lots more guidance and encouragement than we have been providing in recent years. I think it's time for all of us, those of us who have the capacity to get more active than most of us have been, to better understand the issues and the options, to be more aggressive about educating our friends and neighbors, to write more letters, send more emails, make more calls. Since most of us have not chosen a life in politics, that's not going to be easy, and quite often it won't even be fun. But if we don't lead, who will? As Edmund Burke once famously said, all that is necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. The only cure for an ailing system which must practice root canal politics is an active, well-informed, impatient, and demanding public. To lead the way, we need a geezer's crusade full of Wharton equivalents, analytical, articulate, thorough, and determined to take our country back to greatness. We have taken for granted the opportunities and the freedoms we have always known in the United States we all love. Now we've got a new challenge. We need to lead the way back to what we have been and can be again, a great and prosperous country that can offer today's kids and grandkids the same wonderful chances you and I had. I plan to join that crusade, and I hope you will too.
So for the past 12 years, I've been trying to start businesses that tackle social problems. And the book that I've asked you guys to carry home with you reflects the insights that we developed with 12 years in the field, starting businesses in the hope that they would solve social problems. So I'm distressed at the fact that I look around and I see billions of dollars being spent on well-meaning but vainglorious attempts to help people. There's just so much waste of desperately needed funds that I think we're at the stage now where we can begin to ask some questions. So what I'll try to do then is suggest to you that we want to give you some tools, and the characteristics, the challenge we set up for these tools is the tools need to be simple and easy to use. So in the spirit of maximizing confusion, what I've basically done is I've put up the whole story here. The next thing is to sort of demand from the people that are asking for your money, what is the unit of benefit? How are we going to measure what the benefit is? Tell me how we're going to measure it, and then tell me, what the outcome is going to be. The second thing that we think is really important is to think a little bit about what the most competitive, have they thought through what the most competitive alternative is to what they want you to put money into. If somebody comes to me and is asking for a donation, because I do the odd donation myself, I say, well, what behavior differences are going to precipitate the outcome? And what makes you think they're going to do that? The classic example, hundreds of thousands of dollars have been squandered in Africa handing out condoms to women and saying, you should tell your husband to use a condom. So they run around handing out these condoms, and the first thing the women do when they're out of your sight is they throw the condom away. Because the men will not wear condoms. They will not. And then the last thing that I think is terribly important, and then we can turn it to questions, is what I call downsizing. And that is, how are we going to handle this charity if the charity fails? If we run out of funding, if you guys don't write our checks, and we come with our tin cup and we they tell us to go away. And what kind of impact is it going to have if you have to shut this charity down? We're starting a charity, building dependency on the part of the beneficiaries of that charity, and then shutting it down. It's an awful thing. The real issue is if you're going to do something, that could have a downside, can you make sure that you leave behind the lightest possible footprint? And that was kind of some of the things that I thought might be worth asking people who are sitting there expecting the next big check. Because this is what we found got in the way of a lot of our projects. Each one of these things that I've highlighted is something that we learned we have to ask ourselves before we go into our next enterprise. And thus endeth my prattle.
Before we get to giving the pins, I just wanted to say a couple of things. First, big thank you to everyone from the class of '64. Apparently the record for the most attendees to a 50th reunion at Wharton is 21. We had 20. So it came close.
It was 20, you beat it by 1.
Oh, I beat it by 1. Oh, we're the outstanding class. Hey. Well, can all the class of '64 classmates please come to the front? I'll just go down the line and we're going to have a picture taken for posterity.
I thought I saw you coming in for breakfast.